Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Was that good?
That was perfect.
Was that good?
That was amazing.
Dude, I could never get the Ed voice right. I've always tried to. It's such a monumental time, you know what I mean? Anyway, welcome to Back to Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you back to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I'm your guy, Jay Alonzo. We're here on iHeartRadio. Welcome back, I should say. And I'm here with a very, very special guest of mine. I've known this dude at least 10 years, if not more, maybe 15 at this point.
Close to 15 at this point.
Wow. So we're old high school buddies, but I know no other dude in this city who is a movie buff like me, who we can sit and have a full-blown conversation strictly about movies, past, present, future. It's an honor to have this man on here. Y'all make some noise for my guy, David Neff. What's going on, man?
Thank you, Jay. I'm really excited to be here, obviously. It's been a while since I've been able to talk about certain of my passions here, so let's get this started.
Just let it all out.
Let it all out.
Let it all hang out.
Let it go.
Absolutely. So, we met back in high school days in theater class.
That's right, yeah.
So, let's tell everybody how talented I am. No, I'm fucking with you.
No, totally. You can't. I mean, this is Mr. Samson we're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know me by my government on here, so let's keep it down. No, David is a guy I had the pleasure of doing a lot of stage productions with. The most notable was Dracula.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely. Dracula.
And we were just before we decided to go on air, we were going over the the good times, during the Dracula production. And I asked you if you remembered when, by the way, David played Van Helsing, right? And I played Renfield, right? The only black Renfield you'll ever see, by the way.
Definitely.
The only black Renfield. So we were talking about a time when it may have been the third night, and it was closing night, and for some reason I couldn't do the show because I had something else going on to where I couldn't do the show. And it was planned out, I think, at the time with our teacher.
Right.
Shout out to Mr. Garcia.
Shout out.
And I think the agreement was I would do the first two nights, and my understudy, a white guy,
right,
would do the third night.
I remember this now.
So the here come the third night, and whatever I had planned, which I can't even think of for the life of me now, but whatever I had planned that night got canceled, so I was able to do the show.
Right.
But Garcia wouldn't let me get my spot. Mind you, the understudy, he's good. He knows his lines. He's pretty animated. He isn't me, but he's good. He's definitely ready to go. And now, I guess kind of looking back on it, I feel kind of shitty, but that's neither here nor there.
It's high school, right?
It's high school.
The big thing is that, they, a lot of times, high school, they try to pick and choose their kind of favorites and try to see how like a flow of a show is going, especially, when you're on that third night, right. It's just all fatigue at that point.
You're just ready to hang it up.
Especially because, it's not like this was like an hour and a half or an hour play. No, this was like 3 hours. And I remember
with intermission.
Oh man. And I remember my lines. I could have swore it was somewhere in the ballpark of like 200 or 250 lines. Did we have like a clipboard or something?
We had a clipboard with our lines on it for sure. But I bring it up because I remember all the cast, once they have found out that I can do the show,
right?
They were, really wanted me to do the show, but right. Garcia wanted the understudy to do it. To the point to where the cast was like, well, fuck it, I'm not doing the show if he's not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I felt so special. It's high school, but
of course.
I felt so special. I felt so wanted.
I mean, we were a team, man. I mean, we had been focused on this play for what, like 3 or 4 months at this point.
At least 3 or 4 months, yep.
And it was our final year. It was senior year.
Senior year.
So it was like, this is how we want to go out. We want to go out with a bang. We want to get the crew down. It's like, okay, it's like if you were to like go out and try to win the Super Bowl, but you had the backup quarterback in there. Now, he's part of the team, no doubt about it.
Right.
But he's no Tom Brady.
That's Sports Talk with David Neff. Sports Talk. So, wow, that's some good times, man. Fucking high school. So, what are you doing now? Off air, you mentioned something about writing for the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
But you're
So basically, I only work during draft time, which sounds a little bit weird, but the truth is that our busy season starts when football season starts, when college football starts, and it goes all the way through till draft time.
Right.
And the big thing about it is we focus on draft picks, and we look to see what fits certain schemes for certain teams, and we go through and just kind of go through it all, whether they're going to have the right coaching down, whether they're going to have, if this person's going to be back, is this person off injured? Why is it that they want to do, why is it that they would look for this guy? Does this person have character problems? Does it fit in in the GM's mold of a guy?
Right.
Would a GM take a risk on a guy that possibly got in trouble in college? So we go through all that and we compile all this data, and it's drafttech.com, just so you know. And we compile all this data, and we basically format this to figure out draft picks. And of course, it's always based upon how well your team is doing. Right. So, I write for the Patriots. So, I'm picking in the bottom every single year, it seems like nowadays. It doesn't matter if it's they're blowing out the Eagles or if it's 25-point comeback, right? I mean, it's the Patriots at this point. But the big thing is like you have to go through and you have to figure out what's going to work best for the team. And the thing is that a lot of times with draft work, you get to draft day and the other team goes a complete different way. So now it's like, what did I know about this guy? Did I ever write about this guy? So
who is this guy?
Right, exactly.
Right,
it's like, wait, he came from some Division III school and only played against like the Alabama defensive line once, twice. You get the idea. It can become incredibly stressful, but at the same time, it can be really rewarding, especially when you actually get a draft pick right, because you're all of a sudden you're the Swami. You're the guru.
So who's your favorite team actually?
So unfortunately, my favorite team is the Atlanta Falcons,
right,
which was on the receiving end of that 25-point blow.
Right.
So my emotions on that day was a little bit like high school, actually. Started out really exciting, looked like it was going to finish strong.
Toward the end, you're like, sons of bitches.
You find that girl, she's hot, you want to be around her, everything's going great. You start focusing your time more on her, and then you blow graduation, Yeah.
So you no longer get the diploma. You now get the certificate of
appreciation. Right?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much. 4 years of your time. Thank you so much.
So I think this question is going to be a very fitting question. So you write sports. You write about football. In your opinion, and this could actually be a listener's choice episode down the road, but what's the best sports movie to you?
Oh,
any sport though: basketball, football, baseball, soccer.
Okay, how about this?
Or better yet, give me your top three.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you my top in each sport. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, so baseball. It actually comes down between two, and so I'm going to cheat a little bit. This is the first one is going to be Bull Durham, Kevin Costner, Susan Sarandon. It's a baseball movie that's not about baseball. It's like it's so focused on the little aspects and the little things about the minor league system that it's phenomenal. But at the same token, there's a love story involved, and Tim Robbins is in it, and he's playing this guy named Nuke, and they're talking about. If you can breathe through your eyeballs and whatnot, it's just great. It's just that's what you hear. You hear strictly baseball talk.
Right.
The other one though is Moneyball. You know what?
Okay.
So there's this moment in Moneyball that always gets me. All right. So if you guys remember Moneyball, it's a true story somewhat about the GM of the Oakland Athletics. His name is Billy Beane. And he goes and he selects a guy who would later be Star-Lord, Chris Pratt. And he goes and he was a catcher all his career, and all of a sudden he has to play first base. Now, for those of you who are movie buffs, you don't understand the difference in the two positions. It's like trying to ask a point guard to play center. It's like trying to ask an extra to play the main character.
Right.
You know, it's a totally different position. But he does okay. However, in the midst of this movie, the Oakland A's would actually break the record for most consecutive wins in the season. I think it was 21. Mm-hmm. And the moment was that they were against the Royals. They were up like 11-0 by the third inning. It was ridiculous.
Right.
And Billy Bean had this curse. Brad Pitt's playing the character. And he has this curse that he never watches the game. He never attends the game because he feels like it's a curse on his team.
Okay.
And lo and behold, the curse actually happens. You know, he starts watching the game. All of a sudden, the Royals come back. It's tied up by 11. And finally, he just looks so frustrated and so imperfect. And the pitcher throws the ball. Chris Pratt, who hasn't played all game, goes and he just crushes his home run. But what it was, the part that gets me is that they didn't play any music, no crowd cheering. It was like a build-up to the crowd. All you hear is the ball connecting with the wood of the bat, and it's a perfect moment. That is baseball. Now, football, that's easy. It's Rudy. It's always going to be Rudy. I mean, Rudy is that. Hey, if you don't like Rudy or you don't like Remember the Titans, you don't have a heart. I mean, that's the best way I can look
now,
at it.
Remember the Titans, for me, now, though I do love the movie with all my heart. Matter of fact, this is a movie, you know, okay, so listen, in high school, especially high school, there's always those movies that always play throughout your high school career to the point to where as you get older, every time you watch them, it takes you right back to then, and it's played out at that point too. So for me, it was Remember the Titans.
Yep.
It was Shrek, 2?
Yes.
Shrek 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Stand and Deliver was in every high school. For some reason, science class or math class, Stand and Deliver got played.
Probably both.
Yeah, probably both. And then there's also the Temptations TV movie. Got played a lot in high school. Yep, most definitely. But for me, I'm like you. I think I have a favorite sports movie in almost every sport. Well, maybe not every sport, but for me, my favorite basketball movie, and it's hard. It's gonna be a toss up between Blue Chips with Shaq and Nick Nolte. And Space Jam.
Space Jam. I'm surprised. A lot of people love to say love and basketball right there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, depending on who I'm talking to. If I had a girl I'm talking to a girl right now, I'm like, yeah, I love basketball. It's great. It's a great movie, you know?
Oh, okay. So it's circumstantial is
it's
when
very
you really love that
circumstantial,
movie.
absolutely.
Okay,
like,
all
me just
right.
being a kid, fuck it, Space Jam. But my favorite football movie, which is hard, too, because that's where the real toss-up comes into play. So we have... One, Remember the Titans.
Okay.
We are the Titans.
Remember the Titans.
Yeah, so Rudy. I still love Rudy. They let Rudy play, which is great. And my third, hands down, has to be Any Given Sunday.
Oh, man. You know what I love about Any Given Sunday? It's like it really shows like the background of everything, and there was so much drama and everything. It was
God.
like who was the linebacker?
Was it Fox?
No. Jamie Foxx was a quarterback.
Oh,
no, it was Taylor. Yeah, Lawrence Taylor was
LT. You're right.
LT.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
You know, he does this like bone crushing hit that's supposed to like break his neck or something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, man, this is too much drama for me. Like I think it's a great movie. It is super long.
It is, but you know what? It's long for a reason. It's long because Any Given Sunday teaches you about, even though the game is always, what we see as the game. We tune in every Sunday to watch these dudes pretty much kill each other every day.
Right.
Every Sunday. But the movie talks about what's behind the curtain. Like, how the business is being handled, how they look at you when they feel like you're washed up and all that. So I think, it is long. It's like devastatingly long. But at the same time, it's a movie that really does teach you something at the end of it all. Like if you or you got a son that you want to put that you see can go to the big league and all that. There's demons everywhere. There's a glorious lot of this, but there's also demons everywhere.
Did you ever see Will Smith was nominated for Concussion.
Yes, another movie
Phenomenal.
that it's a sports movie with not a whole lot of sports in it.
Exactly.
So,
and the thing is like, I'm not here to try to shine a light on that, but it's important for I think people to kind of get a full understanding of all of it.
Right.
Like if you really want to dedicate your time and life and all that into it, that's what you got to do. Oh, and boxing movies, obviously Rocky, but Warrior, which is an MMA movie, just as good.
Great movie.
It's phenomenal.
Great movie.
One of the only movies that makes me cry all the time.
And you know what? I didn't get into MMA until I saw the movie. I've always been aware of it, you know what I'm saying? But like I never got into it until like, damn.
Right, and then you watch MMA, and then it's like, Conor McGregor or whatever. He's kind of spouting off, and now it's this whole Mayweather McGregor thing that it's just all it does is like promoting hate. I mean, it's great promotion, but it's promoting hate at the end of the day. And it's just,
at the same time,
exactly,
absolutely. I feel like the Mayweather McGregor thing. I mean, it's going to make for good entertainment.
Oh, of course.
But to be like, oh, well, if McGregor wins, he's going to conquer boxing next. No. Not even close.
No, this is an average athlete who is literally one of the best self-promoters. It's like it's like trying to get like Flava Flav into
putting like Flavor Flav on like the double XL freshman cover. Like,
right, exactly.
Wait, huh? Motherfucker, you rap.
One of the best hype men.
One of the best hype men ever.
Ever. But that's the problem with hype is that you got to back it up sometimes.
Yeah, that's because hype usually kind of stays at hype. All right, so let's get into 2-minute drill, man. Because this movie that we're doing today is one of those movies. It's not a great movie. It's not a perfect movie at all.
No.
But it represents a time in our lives to when not just the movie, just the overall layout platform of it all.
Of course, yeah.
This was like our first SNL.
Of course.
Before we understand what SNL was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie based upon a sketch, and some of the best comedies to ever come out has been based on sketches.
Right.
Wayne's World 2,
Superstar,
Blues Brothers.
Yep,
those are all coming from sketch comedies, and even nowadays it's like they try to recapture that magic a lot of the time, but to be honest, it's so hit or miss a lot of the times because if it's not a remake, it's based off a sketch, and if it's not off that, then it has to be original, right?
Yeah, but even the originals, it's like you ran out of ideas a long time ago.
Oh, it has to be.
And I got to tell you, to take a 4 to 7 minute sketch,
right,
and turn it into an hour and a half, 2-hour movie.
I mean, it's really something.
You'll be playing with fire. Like you said, Wayne's World did it. They did it, but and they were able to do it a second time.
I don't even think like I look at some, and there's been some really bad ones. It's like with this movie,
like It's Packed, the movie.
Look, it's packed, but it's packed. They try to, what it was? They try to really capture like the moment of being in the 90s. You got to keep in mind this movie came out in 97. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what was going on then? You had Carmen Electra had just married Dennis Rodman right around that time, so they were trying to capture that magic a little bit. They were still trying to capture, the cast of all that and really try to self-promote a lot of that because you see quite a bit of them going through the movie. Obviously, the main star is Kenan and Kel.
Okay, wait. Okay, we're going too far. 2-minute drill.
That's fine.
Let's bang that up.
Let's do this.
All right, so you got your questions ready?
Sure.
All right, so 2-minute drill featuring David Neff. I'll call him Neff for short. It's going down. All right, ready? I got my first question lined up for you now, sir. So 2-minute drill starts now. How long has Good Burger been open?
40 years.
Good shit.
What was the competition's name?
Mondo Burger.
Good one.
Okay. How much is here we go. How much is Mr. Wheat's car?
How much?
How much is it?
Oh, $22,000 vehicle.
Damn, Dave. Okay. Hit me.
How much overall was the damages on the car?
2,200.
Close. 2,500.
Damn.
After everything.
Damn. Okay.
After everything, because he went for it and for the estimate at 1,900. But they say, but that's why it's called an estimate.
Look here, Neff. Don't come to my show and start trying to,
You're talking
show
numbers
me out
guy.
of
You're talking numbers guys.
Jesus.
Now,
Okay. Okay. We got a minute left. What does Otis tell Dexter when they first meet?
Oh, that's a good one. Otis. Can't tell you. Hey, Dex, maybe.
That's wrong. Hey Dex was Josh Server's character. He played Finn?
Fizz.
Fizz.
Yeah, that's
Fizz. So no, Otis actually tells Dex, I should have died years ago.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Abe Vigoda.
Abe Vigoda, rest in peace. We got 30 seconds left. What you got?
Okay. Do you remember the name of the drug that was used on the burgers?
Oh, shit. I remember the can. It's like a long can with a yellow label on it. 7 seconds. Okay. Triumphantol?
I think you got it.
Is that it?
I really think you got
it. Yeah. So I got one wrong. You got, what's that, 2 wrong?
I think so, yeah. I think you got me.
I'm still the fucking winner on my show. So if you don't know what movie we're talking about, we're taking it back to 1997, the summer of 97, actually. We're already out of school at this point.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon. This wasn't the first movie by Nickelodeon, was it?
No, but this was like their first major production.
Major live action production.
Like this was like, hey, no, we're actually putting in some money into this.
Right.
And now, now Disney does that instead.
Right. So, taking it back to the movie that's very close to all of our hearts if you grew up in the 90s, Good Burger. Mm-hmm. Good Burger. Damn, I can't believe it's already been 20 years.
We're old, man.
We're getting old.
We're getting up there.
Fuck.
I just turned 30.
I'll be 30 in November. My daughter's 10. So, it's... Ouch. I'm already feeling the back problems as we speak. Original release date, July 25th, 1997. Shares opening weekend with Air Force One with Harrison Ford. Get off my plane. We should have did that.
That would have been a lot of fun. I would love to see, try to hear your Russian accent, Gary Oldman Russian accent. No, please, get off of my plane.
No, get off of my plane. That the president? My Russian accent is fucking horrible. It's horrible. I've tried like plenty of times too. Production budget $8.5 million with a box office total of $23.7 million.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. How much was that? How much of that was promo?
I don't know. You got to figure that a lot of that promo cost probably because all that was still going on during the time.
It was still prominent at that time
yeah,
too.
It was. Because all that started in 94 or 95.
Right.
Because it was like a 10-year run.
So we're talking a lot of that promo money was all in house from Nickelodeon.
Probably
had to be all in house from Nickelodeon.
It had to be. It really had to be
because a lot of promos that I remember for sure was actually on Nickelodeon. They TV spots. I think they premiered the first trailer after all that. I believe.
Well, remember because like afterwards they were doing like they started to go. I think it was either right during that time or right afterwards. They started to really focus on like the kid shows like Rugrats and turning them into their own movies. You remember that orange tape? That orange VCR tape? Oh, man.
That orange tape. Orange tape.
You knew you were in the 90s if you had that orange tape.
This movie currently holds a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. Is that fair?
It's better than I expected. Come on, the opening scene by itself is a dream sequence with hamburgers with eyes, cheeseburgers with eyes.
Now, let's take this scene real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so but even before I get to that, every Nickelodeon movie, especially with Good Burger going forward from there, with Nick and their orange, what was it? What do you call it?
The gack.
The gack, yeah. Orange gack, and at the Nick Nickelodeon. You got that's a custom now to Nickelodeon movies overall,
right?
But I remember being a kid. I'm like, dude, if I just get my hand on some fucking gack, I want to be a Nick kid so bad.
I think every kid did, because how many shows did you ever want to compete on Nickelodeon?
My God.
Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Give me on Legend. What's the show?
Double Trouble.
Double Trouble. Mm-hmm. The other show with the big ass nose. You had to like go up the dude's nose to get the flag.
It was so weird. Like when I think of like competition shows like nowadays, like Survivor and whatnot, Amazing Race, I'm like, yo, like it's cool, like you guys are doing some pretty phenomenal stuff, but have you ever picked a dude's nose with like filled with gack just try to get
flag?
Like
get one flag?
Have you done that?
No, you haven't,
because you haven't won $1 million in my eyes.
So we're talking about, and I'm glad we're doing Good Burger only because we could also cover Nickelodeon's golden days, right? And what I mean by golden days, we were there for Rugrats, Doug, Hey Arnold, Our Real Monsters, Pete and Pete. Goddamn Pete, kablam.
Oh, man.
Kablam.
With the dude's tattoo of Petunia, if you remember that.
I do. We're talking the Secret World of Alex Mack. We're talking.
Oh, man. That girl was so talented. I don't know what happened to her.
And then, it's funny. I was having this conversation the other day with some friends of mine. And, as an adult, you look at things a bit differently.
Sure.
So I remember like distinctively when I was younger watching Ren and Stimpy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you rewatch it again as an adult, like, how in the fuck did this show actually make TV? This shit is disgusting for kids. How are we watching this?
Yeah, no, Ren and Stimpy was pretty bad. I think they later was on like Spike TV for like adult channel. At that point. But they were on Adult Swim as well too. Yeah. It got pretty bad at certain points because you're sitting there and you go through these shows and a lot of them they kind of like are growing you up, and then there's Ren and Stimpy. When you had all the disgusting stuff that happens nowadays, Adventure Time, SpongeBob. Yeah, no, Ren and Stimpy
Uncle
was...
Grandpa? What the fuck is that?
Uncle Grandpa. Yeah, no, this was... Ren and Stimpy was like the grandfather of all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was interesting.
And it's funny because, around that time, like we said, all that was like our SNL.
Oh, yeah.
We were there for the original cast.
Your SNL, your Wild and Out. Any variety show that you can think of, I think our older generation would say stuff like Sonny and Cher had their variety show.
Yeah.
The Osmonds had their own variety show. All that was just tailored to that generation at that time. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was silly. It was...
really, for us, and we're coming from, well, at least I know with me growing up, my parents kept a Living Color on. Like, every week, one. So... once the Living Color kind of died out, unfortunately, and that birth stars, through and through. But, but after Living Color, it was all that.
Oh yeah, it was all that.
It was all that because, from Coach Cretin, the original Good Burger episodes, sketches. Then you have
Repairman, man.
Why the echo? What echo? Oh man, we're talking Pierre Escargot, Keenan in the Tub speaking French, and Super Dude.
Super Dude.
These are characters that they could have chose any one of these characters to build a movie off of.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, and you did have some stars that came out of there. Obviously, the two biggest ones is obviously Kenan and Kel, and obviously of those two, Kenan is still pretty deep. SNL, he's now a huge SNL alum. Kel, you'll see every once in a blue moon. But Kel is still at Nickelodeon. Yeah,
with Game Shakers. I think he has some sort of
he was
higher up over there as well.
He was pretty loyal there for a while.
Yeah, but with Lori Beth, she went up and did her thing, and Amanda Bynes came out of there as well. For those who don't remember that one.
Okay. Before Amanda Bynes became Amanda Bynes was actually a very sweet little girl that was very similar to like your Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen type.
Right.
Only she was a little bit angrier coming out of all that. And now apparently she's on some redemption story, so hopefully it all works out with her there. But still, like, no, you had some characters that came out of there.
Oh yeah. And then with the musical performances, and, like I remember being probably my either early 20s or probably my mid to late teens, and they had this crazy reunion.
Yeah.
And even like it took me back to when I was like 7 or 8, like all that's coming on the show. And they look so old now,
Oh man, they try to do the same jokes, and it's just
same jokes. Like
it's like, man, now
like, I get it, but it's like, But you know what? I feel like Good Burger was the perfect movie for them to, or was the perfect sketch to turn into a movie, because really, even though the sketch itself sold the movie,
right?
And of course, Brian Roberts, who created all that, and
he created a lot
and directed the movie as well.
He created a lot.
It's really Kenan and Kel, because they had their own show going at the time too.
Yeah.
So those two names plus all that nostalgia, which all that's still going at the time too.
Of course.
And it was a no brainer. You had to do Good Burger the movie. And I remember when we went and saw it, we went opening day. Me and my brother and my mom, I want to say. And we sat in the theater like giddy ass kids. As soon as that orange gack poured into the cup with Nickelodeon movies on it, we were in there. We were totally in there. So, tell me when you first seen Good Burger.
This was it had to be. See, my history when it comes to the movie industry, it's a little weird. See, my father was military, so for us, every movie that came out, we would get like 6 months later. So during that time, I don't even think Good Burger even came out to us. So I didn't even really see this until I was over the age of 18, probably like when I was like 20 or whatnot.
Whoa.
No, I'm being, hey.
Wait a second. I'm appalled. You mean to tell me the first time you seen this movie, you're already well into your teens?
Yeah, but I'm basically a kid at heart, right?
Well, yeah. Dude, I had the tape. I had the orange tape. Oh my God. Okay. So going back to what you were saying about the opening with Ed, played by Kel.
Look, there are dream sequences, and then there are dream sequences. This is closing into Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. To start out for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, and there's a few moments in this movie that has this is a bit much for a PG Nick movie.
Just the size of the restaurant for Mondo Burger. It was a Walmart.
Yes, or like a Magic Castle or some shit. I don't know, but. Even with the Mondo Burgers, right? Okay, we're totally going to skip around this movie right now. So we're literally watching a possible franchise restaurant poison their customers.
Spoiler alert. If
you haven't seen Good Burger, fucking shame on you. But
you had 20 years.
Yeah, 20 years to get it right. So we're watching this franchise poison their customers, right? Really for the sake of a laugh. You know what I mean? Because
there was no point to it.
There's totally no point to it. But then when you watch it as a kid, it's like, oh, they're bad people. They're
right, yeah, exactly.
But you don't understand, like, as an adult, you don't understand like the actual jail time Kurt's looking at he finally gets caught.
I'm seeing business majors be here saying, no, you need the customers to buy your product so that this can work, so that you can get world dump. No. Yeah. They were more interested in just poison. This felt like the Legion of Doom trying to start up a fast food chain.
Okay, so I have a note here. First of all, Ed showers with his clothes on.
Yeah.
While singing I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude. Because we're all dudes.
Yeah.
The she's a dude part always makes me crack up because I never understood that part until way later in life. But he showers with his clothes on. He rides rollerblades to work, and the opening credits montage there. He kidnaps a baby.
Yeah.
He kidnaps a baby.
Yeah.
For the sake of a laugh, and not to mention for some reason they trade the baby with a basketball.
Okay, so this is a little weird because he's late for work. He's late for work, and he has on roller skates, and he's basically there to make everybody's life miserable at this point on his way to work. He winds up getting this baby from this woman because apparently she doesn't know how to tuck and roll or move off to the side.
Clearly.
And then the baby switched
Which
out.
happens a lot in this movie, by the way.
Oh, no,
you,
no doubt about it.
You're watching the danger come to you.
Yeah, Prometheus. And he goes and he runs into like this basketball game that's going on, and somehow the baby gets switched with the basketball, and then is dunked.
Not to mention they widen that hoop for a nice baby dunk.
Of course. Yeah. No, this was no NBA regulation.
No. That hoop was probably about a legit 10 inches wide, 20 inches wide.
Easy. You know, I always gotta give my shout outs to favorite actors I like seeing, of course. And the opening line, you already mentioned it, obviously, Abe Vigoda, a true legend back in the day. You're talking about a guy who was in a lot of crime TV shows back in the 70s and 80s. But what he's most known for those of you who don't know who Abe Vigoda is, he played Tesori. He played Salvatore Tesori in The Godfather.
Yes, sir.
Pretty memorable role because that was like that moment when like Michael Corleone has finally like figured out who the enemy is because Don has told him the first person to approach you about this, that's going to be the traitor of the family. And it's a magical moment in the movie in itself. So it's great to see him because it wasn't too long afterwards that he actually passed away later on.
Right.
Because he was up there at that point. But it's kind of hilarious because what I loved about it is he's like, you ever like now to be fair, you ever go into like a Denny's or like an old airline and they haven't replaced like they haven't gotten a younger staff yet, so you have the person that's like kind of taking forever. I want to give you this image. He's sitting down at the fry station, which is just horrifying.
And
he has an oxygen mask on. He's breathing through an oxygen mask.
I'm like, that's not sanitary at all.
No. You don't know what sort of diseases could be carried.
Just going, right?
COPD at this point, emphysema.
Like, why is the old man dying over the fries?
And
Come
again,
on.
that legendary opening line. Go ahead.
I should have died years ago. I should have died years ago. Now, yeah, okay, real quick. Rest in peace to Abe Vigoda. Definitely one of those serious, no bullshit actors.
Right, yeah.
And when you see him in a comedy,
yeah,
it's like that in itself makes you laugh. 'Cause like,
yeah, of course.
You never did that before. Like seeing Joe Pesci in Home Alone 1 and 2, or even Eight Heads in the Duffel Bag,
or Ice Cube.
Or Ice Cube, for that matter.
Getting away from the angry eyebrows to, are we there?
Are we done yet? But really, like Pesci, seeing Joe Pesci in Home Alone 1 and 2. Put it this way: watch Joe Pesci have a Joe Pesci movie marathon.
Yeah.
Watch Goodfellas,
Casino.
Watch Casino, and then Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, it's totally different. You know what? to be fair, like Pesci was trying to branch out at that point, but he'll always be known as in Goodfellas and Casino, obviously.
Right.
But at that point, like that's when like Lethal Weapon 2 and 3 came out.
Yep.
2 came out earlier.
Okay,
3 was like 94. Leo gets.
Okay. So getting back to the movie, I definitely love the fact that, they don't shy away from the fact that this is all that.
Yeah.
A skit turned to movie. So
yeah,
you got
of course.
Connie Muldoon is in there.
Yeah.
You got Josh Server playing Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
You get I feel like we're missing one more person that was in it.
Lori. She was in it. She played the fast talking
Connie
customer.
Muldoon. Yeah, she's in it. Was that it? For all that alumni?
For the most part, yeah.
Right.
I think the thing with all that, it's like SNL. Like everybody has probably done something with SNL at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're guest star in it or whether you were there for half a season or 3 weeks or whatever.
Right. My dude.
But no, I mean, what I loved about it is that they really try to stay true to the form of it. Like this is not us trying to promote the Nickelodeon brand. This is us promoting Good Burger, and the cast of all that is in it. Now, if all that other people can branch out and do something more, that'd be great. You know, I was surprised that Amanda Bynes wasn't in it, because she
don't need to be in it.
But she was like such a big part of like all that cast. Like I really remember those.
She was a big part, but I feel like her part was coming in as the show was pretty much going out.
Yeah.
Cause like I feel like she did what, 2 seasons before
I think so, yeah.
doing her own thing.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, at that point
I don't even know if she was on the show at that point, now that I think about it.
When the movie came out. No,
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
No,
I don't think so either.
But still, like it's so weird because it's like you think of all that and you think of Good Burger and it's like, oh wait, no, like this person was it. It's like if they were to do something with SNL and you don't see like Chevy Chase and Will Ferrell in it, and instead they have like the new cast, and it's fine.
It's weird.
Like Katie McKinnon is amazing,
Right?
But
except in
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. But you know what? I did watch. I watched Rough Night the other night.
How was that?
It's horrible, but she's great in it though.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Kate McKinnon is great in that movie. And then, yeah, I feel like, you know, I would like Kate McKinnon to be more. She can lead something for sure, but I would hate for her to be that kind of comic that is only known for her weird ass faces.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because if you actually ever like look her up on SNL sketches and whatnot, she is constantly making her other cast members like
Just
break.
Look, yeah.
There's this one with Ryan Gosling, and it kills me all the time because it's like this weird sketch where it's like these 3 people are sat down and something divine happens to them, like they go to heaven or they're abducted by aliens or something like that, and the other 2 people have like this translucent transcendence kind of experience. And Kate McKinnon's like naked with like her pants off, and like aliens are like kind of poking at her because they're interested in her and things like that. But it's just hilarious because she gets so into it that's like, and it gets so ridiculous with the way that she explains things. It's just it's a sight to see. It really is.
Have you ever had a manager like Mr. Bailey?
The panicky time.
He's forever stressed out.
Like the guy who doesn't know how to lead, and instead it's just like, wait, is that who we're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I guess you have. Yeah. All
yeah.
right. I actually just quit a job where damn manager didn't know how to manage.
You know, it's funny with those panicky type of managers too, because you know you can just like make stuff up, and you know that it takes like 5 or 6 more of these times before they quit on that day. And so you get your crew people. Now, I'm not saying I did this. You know, I only heard about this. You know,
Ed, get back in that kitchen, be making some sauce. I mean, even on the show, he's stressed the fuck out. So
I know.
It's like, dude, like I get it. You know, managing a fast food place is probably a hard job.
Yeah,
but you're always stressed out.
Yeah,
Smokes
he was
weed or
stressed
something.
out when it was slow. He was stressed out when it was busy.
He was just a stressed dude. It's not good for his heart. He was definitely an overweight man, so it's not good for his heart.
Lived with his mom for sure.
Yeah. So I have another note here. We get the Burger Mobile.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I remember one time, not too long after the movie came out, a book came out from Nickelodeon Books, and it was called Good Burger to Go. It had Kenan and Kel on the front.
Okay.
And I believe at that time, the idea was to take that story, which is basically a continuation from the movie,
Okay.
and turn that into Good Burger 2, right? And the Burger Mobile was, I think, if I can remember correctly, Ed does some dumb shit like he normally would.
Of course.
And the Burger Mobile gets stolen or misplaced, one of the two. So they're actually, trying to find the Burger Mobile. Here's the title, Good Burger to Go.
First off, this is keep in mind in this is a fast food restaurant with an actual delivery car ready for you. that looks like a burger. Mm-hmm. I mean, it looks top notch. It's like
they fired up.
It looks like a James Bond Stingray with a big old burger.
I'm sure Toyota didn't make this car, but the fact that they have one is genius, though. Like, totally. So remember the scene when Mondo Burger or Kurt, which by the way, Kurt from Mondo Burger has the easiest punchable face ever.
Yeah,
I mean, he has such a punchable, like he has that kind of face to where, like, dude, I just want to punch the dog shit out of you.
You know what? I feel like that line from Step Brothers where they're looking at Will Ferrell's face and they're like, I don't know what it is about every time you speak, but I just want to punch you in the face. That's exactly like what this guy looked like. He just looked like if you ever felt like you could get in a fight with somebody but you didn't know you could fight. Yeah, this is the guy you could beat. No doubt about it. I mean, you could do some bad stuff there, and it wouldn't matter because everybody would be justified because he has a very punchable face.
Yes, he has that smile, that smirk. Like, I hate your fucking face, I really do. So, they come by Good Burger and they have this this dick measuring contest, if you will.
It really was.
And he's letting them know that we're opening up tonight. You may want to shut your doors early because we're gonna we got the band playing outside. We got all these limousines pulling up.
So
Mondo Burger is a spectacle.
So let me get this right: limos, red carpet, high school band.
Yep,
has to be high school band.
Yep.
In this castle of a fast food restaurant. This isn't like a sit down. This isn't like like a Wolfgang Puck opening up or Gordon Ramsay opening. No. This is still very much a fast food restaurant.
Which had no drive-through, by the way.
Yeah. No drive-through.
There's no drive-through at all.
No drive-through.
So it's really a restaurant. Not even really a fast food. It's just go in there and get a burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no drive-through.
27 counters. No, it was more like 5. Yeah, like 5. Still, it was still like 5 counters. Like, it's your Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember when Chick-fil-A opened up? It was this big deal. It's such a huge lines. When I went to Chick-fil-A, I went to one in Henderson, and that line was so big, and they actually had police doing parking lot duty to get everybody, to be cool. Like, you'll get your burger in a second, you'll get your chicken sandwich in a second. So
keep in mind something: we are taxpayers that are paying, that we're paying like the police force, wages and whatnot a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were paying traffic cops to be traffic cops for Chick-fil-A for a while. I think it still goes on, actually.
Nah, not as much. I think the hype has definitely calmed down since then.
What about the ones on Sahara? Because that one's still new.
That one's still crowded, but the police say, y'all got it, you're good. Like, you don't need us, you don't need it, not anymore, we're good.
Just so you know. They don't got
it. Okay, so after the opening of Mondo Burger, another scene I want to point out is when Mr. Bailey comes by Good Burger, and he goes, everybody, I got one. And he comes through the Mondo Burger, and why, I don't know who wrote this. If I may cut this out in takeaways, but he lifts the burger like it's 40 fucking pounds.
Hold on. Didn't they put this? They put it on a spatula.
And the spatula bends, by the way.
It bends.
But in that scene, it's back to being
right
side up, But I never forget that part. Even like I'm like, there's no way that burger's that fucking heavy. No way. And if it is, there's something illegal going on here.
So obviously, ever since that movie came out, the burgers that you see in other fast food restaurants in real life now have only tried to match it at this point, And now it's funny because today I was just watching. They're like, corn dog creations that you can make, and it's like pretzels with your corn dog and cheese sauce, and then here's a pizza slider that you can get with buffalo chicken on top of it, or So I feel like it to take away anything from Good Burger is that Mondo Burgers has directly influenced the way that our burgers currently look nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, see, hold on. If we ever went to a place where the burger was that damn big, as far as like the meat itself was that big, unfortunately, Mondo Burger, or correction, Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon movies have now scarred us, those who have seen this movie.
Of course.
If I see a burger that big, I'm going to immediately assume that there's a silver can somewhere in the kitchen, and you're dropping that shit in my burger.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, I don't want it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There are restaurants out there. Heart Attack Grill is a very popular one.
Oh, yeah.
Where you literally have to...
Diabetes Nation,
You
have
to sign. You have to sign a waiver to eat at the restaurant. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. You have to sign a waiver to eat at the restaurant because it is very possible for you to have a heart attack in this restaurant. They have a burger with 20 pieces of bacon. 20 pieces of bacon.
And I love bacon.
I love it too. I don't love 20 pieces of it.
Nope.
Not all at once.
I like my heart to kind of continue to beat.
I like it spread out.
Yeah,
throughout
maybe
the week.
maybe throughout the month. You know what I'm saying? I don't need 20 right now. No, I don't need that right now.
I want to talk about one little note.
What's up?
Okay, so I love this actor. He's in the movie. He definitely has a role in it. But what was going on with the outfits of Sinbad there? I mean,
Sinbad. Sinbad reminded me of Mr. Wheat is his character's name. Sinbad reminded me of a teacher I had in, I want to say, high school and middle school, one or two. And his name was Mr. Jones. Keith Jones, right?
I think I know who you're talking about.
And this fucker came to school. You swear but down like he lived in a time machine, because he always come to school. You have to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because he always come to school Monday. This is like 2003, 2004.
Right, yeah. Like,
and he's
things were starting to get cool at this point.
And he's dressing like it's still like 92.
Oh, yeah, no, it was bad. No, Sinbad in his first scene, first off, he has this ridiculous looking afro. It doesn't even it doesn't even look good on him. Like, it just, you know what it looks like? If you ever see what's that movie with Burt Reynolds?
Cop and a Half.
No, not Cop and a Half. Mark Wahlberg porn movie, kind of. Boogie Nights.
Yeah, coming up.
If you ever see like Boogie Nights and like the afros that they had then, this is what Sinbad was wearing.
Oh my God.
This is a teacher at a high school. And then his costumes, first off, they have quotes on the costume. And I'm not talking like cool quotes. Like, I'm talking like it's patchy. It's kind of all over the place. It looks like, you know what? It looks like if you started combining like nations' flags together. There is one scene in the movie where he actually looks somewhat normal, and he's wearing a light purple, or like a light pink suit. But I mean, it still looks like really out of place.
Dude, he had an orange mailbox that got destroyed.
He had a regular one, and then he got the orange one.
And then he had this weird one with the, oh yeah, you're right. He had the regular mailbox that got destroyed. Then he had one with this weird psychedelic painting on it, like flowers and shit. I'm like, you're the only dude on this whole block.
That's Detroit leather. You know where you get Detroit leather?
In Detroit.
From Detroit.
In Detroit. All right, so okay. I want to talk about the actual meeting of Dexter and Ed. Because obviously early in the movie, Ed caused the crash.
Right.
Dexter crashes mom's car into Weed's car.
Of course.
The $1,900. The estimate was $1,900.
Right.
But when they meet again, and you know they have that obvious Kenan and Kel spark.
Of course.
So it's almost like even we forget that Ed caused the issue earlier in the movie.
Right.
First of all, Dexter creates this super out of line shady deal with Ed, you know, because of the Ed sauce.
Of course.
And you know, dude, come on, bro, he got you a fucking job. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big move.
I mean, they brought it up like later in the movie. They're like, Ed is like one of the sweetest guys I've ever known. I mean, he got you a job. It's like, man, anytime. See, when I got into the industry that I originally got into, like, I was so grateful for the guy who got me in there that like anything he wanted, he could have been like, hey man, I need to like move to like a different city. I would have been like, all right, man, like give me like 12 hours, to get ready, and then like let's do this. Let me make plans. But that's what I mean. Like
right.
Yeah, maybe this is like some fast food job and whatnot, but it was crazy. Like it was crazy just seeing like how shady this deal was. To be fair, here's what the deal was. Okay, Ed creates this. Spoiler alert, again, he had 20 years. Creates a sauce that's amazing that we don't even know what's all in it. We only know that you take some lemon juice and some tomato sauce, and then he's always cut off right before he could say the rest. He's paid 10 cents for every burger that's sold. Now, that may not seem like a lot, but these guys were getting like 50, 60 customers
an hour. Yeah, burgers were flying off the shelves.
And so that starts adding up. So he creates this like stupid deal, and Ed, being naive, he's just, he was cool. He didn't care about the money, really.
Right.
He was basically getting 2 cents of that 10 cents. Now, that may not seem a lot, but that's for every 5 burgers sold, he finally equals up that 10 cents. And then, you just got to keep going on with the math from there. The dude was getting
ganked, man.
The first scene, he was like, they're like, Ed, this is for you. It's like $67. Now, $67 in 1997 was a lot of money.
I mean, you can let that stretch at least,
that was for sure. That was a utility paid for.
Oh yeah,
here in Las Vegas, like power bill, easily.
Yeah, no problem. Now,
you'd be lucky if that paid
put
for
gas in your car.
Like half of your cell phone bill.
Or a quarter of it. Shit.
Oh man, it's so bad. But $67 was a lot, and then all of a sudden, like Dexter, like he takes like
you can keep $13.
So that's a monumentally bad deal,
right?
Obviously, but it's like you got to think about like the kind of character that you are. But to be fair, in true Good Burger history, like it's always been that way. Like Keenan's always played that way, even in all that the Keenan and Kel show, which I loved for the longest time. I remember this one episode. It used to crack me up because like Ed was. Or Kel at this point was like sick with like the flu or something like that, and so he goes and he creates like this or Keenan creates this like monstrosity of like a power energy drink, like eggs,
like chicken's
in it, like some sort of protein is in it, cough syrup. The next day, Ed just looks amazing.
Right.
So then Keenan's uncle or dad, I can't remember, gets sick, and he's an air traffic controller, people. So he has to help land these planes, right? And Kel creates the same thing, but he misses certain ingredients and it turns out to be like the sleeping potion. It was so...
And he's falling asleep while directing traffic.
No. He falls straight asleep. A plane crashes. The pilots have jumped out of the plane. No telling what happened to the passenger. So that could have actually been like a serious tragedy that could have just happened there.
I feel like in 2017 we're too politically correct because back in them days that was just funny.
No, that was hilarious. A plane crash? You kidding? What's the next one?
So it might not. Well, fuck it, it might not. That's
right.
what's funny to me.
Exactly.
But it's funny how you bring up the Keenan and Kel show because I remember you're right. Keenan was always the one scheming to get to the top, like every time.
Yep.
At the beginning of the show and at the end of the show. Kel, get some duct tape, some Swedish fish, and some rope, and meet me at the top of Mount Rushmore. Let's go, Skippy. Like, what the fuck?
Here it goes.
What do you get ready to do?
Always ended.
Like, what do you get ready to do right now?
Right, yeah, exactly. Weird. And like Kel goes running off after saying that line, and then that's how every episode basically ended. It's like Quantum Leap.
Yeah, it was always. So let's go to the scene when they're on the double date. Ed is with Roxanne, Carmen Electra in her heyday, and then you have Dexter is with Monique, played by Shar Jackson. Shar Jackson, yep. And I thought the scene was really cool, and it's only because Ed has absolutely no clue on how to be on a date with somebody, right? And then poor Roxanne gets her ass beat all night. I mean, all night, to the point to where she goes. Mind you, the whole point of her even being there is that Monaberger can get Ed sauce.
Of course,
right?
Okay, so first off, there's tons of sexual themes that are like thrown in there,
plenty,
like ridiculous. like I had to rewatch this for the show, obviously, and I'm just cracking up at some of the sexual innuendos because, well, like I said, I'm still a kid at heart, but. It was so ridiculous at some points because she's like really coming on to him.
Right.
And it's pretty like there's look, I know some people in real life that may actually be the same way as Ed was, but after a while you would start getting the hint a little bit there.
I mean, especially after the golf incident.
Oh, right.
And they drop Dexter and Monique back to the job. She practically goes, listen, if you give me the sauce, I'll suck your dick.
Pretty much.
I was like,
pretty much.
Whoa.
I will do whatever you want for this sauce.
For this sauce.
Now,
I'll suck your dick.
Pretty much. She was looking for two forms of sauces there.
Yeah. She had to get that sauce. Kurt must be paying her a pretty penny to get that damn sauce.
Man, I hope so. Of
Probably
course,
not.
it'd be
Probably
like
not.
$67.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? Oh, cheapo. No. So, and I love that because the very next scene, once Ed pretty much body slams her and shit, she comes the next day all bruised up on crutches, like, I quit.
Oh man, and I mean, she's like hobbling in there. Like it looked like she got into a car accident. Really, this was just date with Ed.
So, another part of the movie, which I thought was really interesting, and I'm actually surprised. I guess for story's sake, they put this in here, which made sense. We find out that Dexter didn't grow up with his dad, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that little moment there was pretty cool because later on in the movie, Ed comes to Dexter with the same yo-yo that Dexter's father had gave him.
Right.
Before Dexter's father, basically took off.
Yeah.
Right. And I thought that part was cool because Dexter he's now beginning to feel like I'm pretty much fucking this guy out of his money.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, when Monique finds out the actual deal,
yeah,
they're going from there. I love that part. I also realized that this movie had a lot of cameos in it that you wouldn't like. I remember Shaq is in this movie.
Yeah, Shaq had a really
quick
interesting
cameo.
role.
Robert Wool had a cameo in the beginning, which I thought was pretty interesting. And it's just Nickelodeon had that. They had the juice.
Yeah,
they had that juice.
Well, they had the pool there for a little while, especially because if you remember with all that, a lot of the times they would bring in people as well, like the Brat was in it. Some of the musical performances. I don't know why this one always comes to mind, but when Tag Team came out, played Whoop, there it is.
Oh my god.
I remember that. And then they brought in Criss Cross.
They brought in LL. I remember LL Cool J. And this is another thing about Nickelodeon back in them days. Once again, that's why I keep on saying we're too PC. Because the first time I heard Loungin', Who Do You Love? Besides the radio, was on all that.
Yeah.
Right? Loungin' is not a song you want to play around children.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Or, for that fact, perform around children. But he did it.
Yeah. And they kind of rolled with it. It's like when a radio station like gets the first hearing of a track and they're like, oh, we just got this brand new track from so and so, and it's just like you hear it all.
Like, listen, we just
got it. And they always
just
be like,
got it.
It's 11 p.m. at night. You know what I'm talking about.
Wait, back in those days, before they really like mastered the art of like editing
and censorship,
because this is before even TV had ratings yet. So back in those days, a song would come out and there's cussing on the song. Those really weird editing things like hugging.
They would do
ish, off, ish,
or they would double talk,
which is so stupid.
Oh, it was so bad.
It threw the beat off so bad. Well, I don't want to hear this shit no more.
I remember when they first started doing it, and they literally did it with beeps, actual beeps itself, like how they do it in like TV shows nowadays. And it sounded terrible because you'd get some of those tracks, those old NWA tracks, Public Enemy wasn't too bad, but it would literally cut out at least a third of the song.
Right.
With terrible editing.
Right.
And it's like the only thing you would get is maybe the chorus. And so you knew the chorus. You're like, oh, I know the chorus, and you would do that. But unless you bought like the CD, or you were at some club, or, if somebody had the tape, then that was it. But nah, like the whole PC thing nowadays, there's a good and a bad to it.
Right.
Like the good to it is that it's good to limit exposure to a certain extent, but at the same time, you got to have exposure at some point, because if you're not going to teach it, somebody will.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of times it's going to be in a way that you don't want it to be.
Exactly.
And
almost a biased opinion.
It's amazing. You know what I thought was really interesting was I was actually a little curious on why they did this with the movie, because they brought up, Dex not having his father around,
right?
And I thought that was, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was a little weird, because it wasn't like Nickelodeon was really trying to push racial themes, but there was a sense of a racial theme in here, because like towards the end of the movie, like Ed says the stupid joke, is it because I'm black? To Dex, who's black, obviously,
right?
Good. And it was just a little. I felt like it was really out of place, because it's like I'm all for promoting togetherness and family and having the good family home and whatnot, and promoting the sense of responsibility and relief there. But it's like, because of how it's weird, like looking back on it. But like, just 5 years before that, LA riots was there, the censorship with again NAA. And Public Enemy and all those great Raekwon, all those great artists that are coming in, and I didn't feel like I felt like I don't know what Nickelodeon was really aiming for there. Like, who were they really trying to appeal for? Like, because if this was a kids movie, back in the day, kids movies didn't like push that. Nowadays it is. Oh, absolutely.
Not just the movies, the TV shows, cartoons.
Oh, absolutely.
They push that agenda so far down these kids' throats. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, because you'll see something like Meet the Robinsons, for example. Disney movie talks about orphans, right? Back in the day, being an orphan was cool, because not in that sense, but like, because you were going to be the chosen one, and you were going to be like King Arthur, or afterwards. Nowadays, it's like, hey, it's kind of like, if you want to talk about, it's like, no, like you don't need to push that so hard sometimes. Right, exactly. It's like sometimes a kid is just a kid. Sometimes a kid has a normal upbringing, and
even as an orphan,
exactly, even as an orphan, even as all of it. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be addressed, but it was really interesting, like back in that day, because this is 1997, so this was before the 90s were weird, because the biggest thing, in my opinion, that happened in the 90s was O.J. Simpson, and like
who was apparently getting out pretty soon.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is parole here.
Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
movie review coming up.
And that was it. Like that was the biggest thing, in my opinion, that happened in the 90s. That, and I was too young for the LA riot. I was 4. I wasn't even in the United States at the time. So it's like, it's really interesting to like to see like Nickelodeon really try to push that. And I don't know if it was really necessary. Like I felt like it felt so out of place, and it felt like it just asked more questions. What do you think?
Man, what do I think? I feel like, well, if you got to think about it, this is the 90s, right? Especially with Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was, let's be real, like at one point was bigger than the Disney Channel. I never really watched the Disney Channel.
No,
like
I didn't watch it either.
If it wasn't Nickelodeon, it was Cartoon Network.
Yeah, the only thing,
primarily Nickelodeon,
and Disney. The only thing at the time they were big for was Aladdin, Lion King. Came out in '95. And they were really trying to push like the Disney classics that were kind of coming out.
And they were really pushing just Disney stuff,
right?
Really, because
like Disney World, Disneyland.
Yeah, and they wasn't really taking major risks like that. Nickelodeon was taking risks, like major ones.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then plus they had more to offer.
Yeah.
You know, so growing up, you know, and it wasn't just Good Burger, it wasn't just all that. It was really almost everything they had going. Even Doug had certain themes where I'm like,
you know what?
Okay.
No, you bring a good point. Like when put up, I remember one episode in Doug, and I'm just gonna bring this one. It's his best friend is like moving away.
Right.
That to me was like a big thing for me, like because for my childhood and for my life and everything that happened with me, I was the one that was always moving away.
Right.
I was the best friend that was always moving away. So it's like that related to me a lot. So for me, like maybe in a different perspective, I could totally see why it was necessary in that movie. I guess in my current, you know what, the reason why is because I wasn't in that kind of environment for the most part. I mean, it was military. So military, like, I don't want to say that life was always good with us. That just wasn't like a key focal point in the crowd at the time. You know?
What do you think Skeeter's nationality was?
You know,
I'm
gonna say Puerto Rican.
No, I think Roger was Puerto Rican. I think Skeeter was black.
I'd be okay. I mean,
and I thought Patty was definitely like of Latin persuasion, but from like Texas.
It was definitely Southern, for sure. Southern. Doug was from like Ohio, Virginia.
Oh yeah, super Midwest boy for sure.
I mean, he was, and but no, you bring a good point. Like, and that was a cool thing. Like, what worked really well with Doug is that they brought color into it without bringing color into it.
Right.
Like, hey, guess what? This person is a different color than what I am. Clearly. Like Roger is green.
BB's like purple and shit. And,
right.
You know, and
Patty is like this sun-dried red orange. You know?
Yeah. So.
And then, of course, Skeeter, you know, he's this really nice, like, ocean blue color. You know? Right. So, but it's like they try to, like, bring it in, but it's like, I don't know. I think if you grew up with it, I think because I grew up with it, I didn't see it that way. So it kind of like it threw me off there like a little bit. You know.
You're actually pretty blue right now.
Right.
Like, you're looking very blue. Now, all right. So let's wrap up Good Burger. So when Dexter and Ed are outside, and Dexter wants to come clean about the deal, right? And the dog runs up, and first of all, it makes you wonder, why does Ed have a mono burger at all?
Right.
But when the dog's barking about the 4 clowns, and Ed's like trying to like talk to the dog and shit, and Dexter goes, well, he's not talking about no damn clowns. He's hungry. So Ed throws down the mono burger. Dog is like, I'm not fucking with it. Nope, I don't want it. Nope, I don't want it. But throws down the Good Burger and he kills the Good Burger.
Yeah,
and that's made him think like, oh, something's up with that burger.
Right, yeah.
The dog don't even want it.
Not the size of it, you know, because the size of the burger was basically like, you ever worked at like a pizza shop?
No.
Okay. Well, pizza shop, if you ever work at like a Papa John's and you can get like those big, extra large like doughs, that's what it looked like, only brown. So it was like a rotten pizza dough, in my opinion.
No, so I don't want that shit. I don't want it. So they, just off that alone, they're going to go sneak into Mono Burger and see what exactly is going on with these burgers.
Right, yeah.
And so by the time, they come into Mono Burger dressed as women.
Which is phenomenal.
Which is, you clearly know it's them, but whatever. But when they discover the bottle, right? Mm-hmm. And Dexter creates this way of distracting them while Ed gets the evidence. This whole scene to me, do they ever explain what made the whole place kind of go up? Because really, when when he gets the idea of just pouring all the shit into the meat grinder, right?
Right.
Smart idea for sure. Like, why not beat them at their own game? I get that, but what actually makes the place come down?
So, real quick, I want to add a little side note to that. The bad guys were like, the bad guys had this thing where they basically said, basically said, "You idiot! You stole like an empty bottle." And it's like, yeah. And if you still took that to the police could obviously like call a lab and figure out what was wrong with this drug.
Clearly.
Like they didn't. It was like they didn't even know like it was still incriminating evidence against them.
You sold an empty can. Like, no.
I'm going to say all the explosions of the microwaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
radioactive.
But for those who have ever exploded a microwave, no, usually it doesn't bring down. I don't know. Maybe a lot of them do.
I don't know. But I thought it was very, very clever on Ed's part because obviously once police show up, the whole place goes down.
Right.
Of course, Mr. Wheat's car gets smashed to shit again. Good for him. So when police are cuffing Kurt, by the way, Kurt's boys turned on him completely.
Oh, no, totally.
Completely.
They were done.
Like, nope.
They weren't getting paid no more.
He did
they
that shit, that's on him.
They weren't getting that 67 a day.
Fuck. So, when the cop comes out and he's like, oh, they're lying? Well, I'll tell you what. We'll take a look at these. We'll see who's lying.
Right.
Because when you mess with Good Burger, you go in the grinder.
Right, yeah. Oh, man.
So, and I think that's how the movie wraps up almost damn near perfect because it closes with the same line it opened with.
Right, yeah.
Which is the welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger, California order. And then
everybody likes full circle movies.
Shit-eating grin.
Right.
And by the way, side note, I had the soundtrack to this movie.
No.
I did, yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, I do not. I'm a grown ass man, and there's no need for it now. But I remember I was going through this thing to where every movie that I really wanted to see had a soundtrack, and I was really into like
Space Jam.
That perfect example.
That soundtrack.
That soundtrack is epic. I still have that though.
There's still songs I go to the gym with Space Jam soundtrack. The Monstars theme song.
Oh
man.
Yes. I play that in my car.
Oh man.
But like the Quad City DJs Space Jam song, I love that record. I Believe I Can Fly, not so much. R. Kelly pisses on people, so I don't really. Nah.
What did you hear? Real quick, I hate to get off topic, but
the
did you hear this whole thing? Yeah. The cult thing. How these girls are like defending him?
Does it shock me?
No.
But they're grown at least.
No.
So hey, if I see Facebook videos of dudes walking around with their girls and their girls walking like a dog with an actual chain on,
right?
And when he says sit, you sit. You're grown. You made your own decisions. I'm not going to get involved in that.
At that point, you have no. What?
But that piss was digital.
You ever watch the Boondocks?
Yes.
Okay. They had this whole episode on how they had incriminating evidence against R. Kelly, and it didn't matter. It did not matter.
He sung a song.
Because he sung so beautifully and so well that people were able to forgive his sins. I really want to see this go down now. I want to see him go to trial, sing a song. And let's see, let's see if he gets it. Because if he does, then that for me is coming back to full circle.
Well, let's be real. What can you charge him with? All these women are grown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
You can't really charge
assault.
Back in the day, peeing on the 14 road, that's a different story. But he went to trial. They found him not guilty, and of course, happy people came out, and R. Kelly he's doing happy music. So once that whole thing, cleared up,
I think he put
where are these bitches at? That's what he's on.
I think he put back on his little Gimp mask. He had
the Piper mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Piper.
Take a pussy in the night. So before we get into takeaways, reflect on Good Burger 20 years later. How does it hold up to you?
Oh man. It's kind of like it's a good bad movie. It's like your last action hero.
It served the purpose.
It did. It kind of served that that branching point of like, hey, this is our movie. This is a lot of the times when you're a kid, your movies were always Disney movies, right?
Right.
But you can't always relate to every Disney movie. You're not some Arabian prince that finds a genie. You're not some mermaid that's swimming around, has this beautiful voice and gets taken away for whatever reason. Right. So a lot of times you have to find ways to kind of relate. And Nickelodeon movies, they they really were trying to branch this out a little bit. A couple that come to mind: Snow Day.
Yep.
Harriet the Spy.
Loved it.
Oh, it was amazing. And obviously, I think they also had a hand in. It's escaped my mind now. But the big thing is it kind of branched to you because this is what you knew. You knew all that. You didn't know the movies that were kind of coming out at the time. It's like what you knew was what this was and how it kind of related to you, and to finally see these guys like in the big screen, big theater, so you can share this with mom and dad and whatnot.
It's an event.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with kids nowadays with any movie or any TV show that they got on. Anybody that's like, oh, I'm huge into Dragon Ball Z, and then that comes in theaters,
which is still more of our era.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And then the Dragon Ball movie came out, and it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, but then they brought it back with like the animation cartoons and like parents on there like, oh man, this is so cool, you know.
Right.
And the same thing, you know, it just, that's what I mean. Like there's this, it targets a crowd, and it's smart for movies to actually do this because what's always going to make money nowadays is if you have a good brand name, Nickelodeon at that time, Disney nowadays, and you say kids movie, because more than likely you're at least going to make your money back.
Oh yeah,
more than likely you're at least going to make your money back. And if that didn't work, well, whatever, it's a wash, right?
And plus, a Nickelodeon movie at that time, one held more weight than a Disney, mid '90s Disney Channel movie would actually have, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, unlike Disney, Nickelodeon catered to the younger kids, and the teenagers,
of course.
So we can all kind of get together and enjoy this laughably bad movie.
I just think it's funny now with their cameos. I'm curious of people that that was strictly there to say, hey, you know, Carmen Electra's in it. I might as well give this a shot. And then she has like this. She gets her ass beat. It's pretty embarrassing, you know. Or if you're a Shaq fan and you wanted to see, you know, you were all about Shaq because at that time, this was before he went to the Lakers. He was still with Orlando at that time, and they had this ridiculous. First off, they had this ridiculous thing with Shaq. They said, "Oh, you hit the game-winning layup or dunk or something in the final seconds. That's going to send your team into the NBA championship." And like Keenan and Kel, like you know, or Ed and Dex in this case, literally drove through the hallway. By the way, hold on. This is Inglewood at this point
at the forum.
At the forum. Okay, drove through the hallway of the forum to get into the locker room. No security. No security. They actually drove through security. How they weren't arrested, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. We're too PC now, because had this been 2017, that is a terrorist attack. They've been shot down before they even got to the door.
Exactly. But that's what I mean. Like it served. It was a branch,
right?
You know, and maybe afterwards you went on to, maybe you were old enough to start watching other things. You know, at that time, or you know, you want to get back into like the cartoon thing, like new Batman was coming out like soon. Batman Forever was like in '96. Batman and Robin was like
we
98.
just did Batman and Robin, and it's fucking horrible.
We're talking about the Joel Schumacher days.
Bat crotch.
The campy Batman, not the.
So let's get into takeaways. We're really going over time. Fuck it. All right, David Neff. Who's getting your That Guy award?
So I gotta give it to, you know what, the star of the show is always going to be Ed. You know, the show, it doesn't work without his Keanu Reeves impression, his goofiness, his taking showers with clothes on, not getting hints that a girl likes him, is interested in a psychopath in a mental hospital more than he is into Carmen Electra, which pretty much sums up most of my dating history.
Yep.
You know, and that's the truth of it. Like he's just this amazing thing. However, the other shout out has to go to the director as well, because he definitely found talent later on. Robbins would actually direct Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. Yep.
Yep, and Billy Bob was in this movie. He would also direct one of my personal favorite movies, which obviously didn't do so well, but Ready to Rumble, which
I totally remember Ready to Rumble. Okay.
I still watch this movie
To this day.
To this day. I mean, Oliver Platt is like so legendary in it, and then this is like the worst part that they did with this movie is that promoting this movie, they made David Arquette the WCW champion. Yeah, no, that was terrible.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
But it doesn't matter. Like you saw this, this was a guy that clearly had talent back then. Oh, and one last, we were talking about baseball movies. Some of my favorite, Hardball. Robbins directed that one.
He did.
Yes.
Forgot all about that.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he had something for that Keanu look. Literally getting
Totally.
getting Keanu in there also.
who's getting your I love Hardball. G Baby? Oh,
G Baby.
Damn.
G baby got me.
Oh, G Baby. All right, so who's getting your that chick award? Not too many girls in this movie, so
You know what? She should have had a bigger career than she did. But Shar Jackson,
Right.
like I feel bad because she's known for TV shows Moesha. Yep. And there were a couple other cast members. If you remember, what's his name?
from
Very
Malaysia?
beginning of the movie.
John Server.
No, way earlier. His buddy in the car.
Oh, Marcus Houston.
Yeah, Marcus Houston.
Batman
He was in
from Sure.
yeah, and Sister.
And Roger.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So she played like this really warm character but the thing was like, it wasn't that she was just a warm character. She had attitude, and
Right.
like they had no problem like doing the whole shit talking on the golf course and
Right.
whatnot. And that was great. I love.
You noticed that her and
That
Dexter
felt-
never got back together.
Exactly. That felt legit.
Right.
That actually felt legit.
Right.
But yeah, give it to Shar Jackson then.
Your This Fool Award. Who is your least favorite character? I know who mine is. Mr.
Riley,
Punchable Face
yeah.
himself.
Yeah. Punchable face. I have to say, like, okay, yeah, it's pretty clear it's going to be him.
Yeah.
Like, I really kind of wanted to throw a curveball and say the manager of Good Burger, because the panicky manager.
Yeah, but you've come to love the guy
Yeah, after a while.
after a while.
Because he lives with his parents.
Yeah,
Or at least
he's like he's maybe a shift or two away from like killing himself. So let him get
Yeah,
by.
just on B.
What are you cutting out? What scene can go?
You know what? The opening sequence, that dream sequence, like it made sense, but made no. I don't mind him like waking up and being late to work, but I would at least change it some way, shape, or form. Like instead of it being like the burgers and like, oh, let's fly away, bro. Yeah, no. Instead, if he like woke up and he was like, and he was like in his like boxers serving people, and people are like laughing at him at work.
Okay.
Instead, because he feels like the uniform is a representation of what he is. That's why he has to shower in it.
He wore the uniform to the date.
Yeah,
he just do a tie on.
That I don't think he owns clothes.
No, he only wears the uniform. That's it. Tell me your iconic scene.
Ooh. You know what? There's a couple of them in here, but one of them definitely, one of the scenes that just had me cracking up was we didn't really touch on this, but there's this asylum that this is how crazy this gets.
The asylum with George Clinton. Yeah,
Yeah, with George Clinton.
yeah, we totally skipped over that.
Yeah, so George Clinton's in it.
Yep.
Obviously.
If you didn't know,
And they have this really cool little dance sequence that winds up being like
The escape
breaking
plan.
out. The escape plan, right? Because that's how movies are supposed to work. You do a dance sequence that you can slip out and like run away. But what killed me in it was like Ed had actually untied this guy's straitjacket. Clearly a hostile patient.
why
at this
is he
point.
out of his cage to begin with?
Don't know. Have no clue. But apparently they felt like he was not dangerous enough to be in a cage, but dangerous enough to be in a straitjacket.
To still be, in a straitjacket.
So he unties him. And this scene just like stands out to me for some odd reason because it just had me cracking up. Dexter's like, oh no, they're like getting ready to like lock the doors everywhere. And there's this huge window and he's like, hey, big dude, can you like help us out with the window? And he straight up throws Dexter out the window. On top of this, it gets worse. It gets worse. Now, they briefly talked about this, like how old Abe Vigoda's character is, Otis. He's 77 years old, and they showed him like getting pushed down and saying that he broke his like hip or like tailbone or something, like as kind of a joke, right?
He broke his ass.
Right, he broke his ass. He broke his ass, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he throws himself out the window. And this wasn't like, no, this was at least 3 stories. Like, and they landed like perfectly okay. And then for some odd reason, Ed throws himself out the window, but he doesn't throw himself in the open hole. He has to create a new hole for himself to get out. Yeah, no, that was pretty memorable. Yeah. That was pretty memorable. And yeah, just the suits of Sinbad.
For me,
that's going to stand out.
My bad. Something in my throat. He'll edit that out. It's all good. All right, so for me, that guy award, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to give it to Ed. Without Ed, there is no Good Burger. Mm-hmm. Without Good Burger, there's no Ed. So that's keeping it simple. Kel Mitchell, he owns that character. That's that guy. That chick award, yeah, I gotta give it to Monique. You know, you would like to see more of what could happen between Monique and Dexter.
Right.
But obviously for time-wise, you couldn't do it.
Right.
And this full award, I'm going to give it to Mr. Punch Him Face McGee.
You know, he just... It wasn't even like he was a good bad guy. Like, he was just like that dude you wanted to fight like, all the time.
Such a... You know,
he's a weasel.
You're such a weasel.
He's like Shermanator in American Pie.
So you do such a weasel.
That guy. Every time.
I'm gonna say my cut that out would have to be. You know what? No, I don't think I'll cut anything out. This movie's perfect the way it is.
You think so? You keep that opening sequence?
Yeah, as shitty and. Yeah, I would actually because
as Little Shop of Horror shitty it is
because you find comedy even in that because remember 3 burgers come up right now that second burger in the middle when he speaks to Ed his voice is quite high.
Yeah,
the same burger talks to Ed again now his voice is mad deep. Nobody catches that.
I think you're talking Inception now.
I'm telling you, the same
a dream within a dream.
Listen, he goes, "Don't sell me, Ed, please." The same burger goes, "Fly, Ed, fly." I'm like, y'all switch voices like halfway through here. Like, who's in the ADR booth right now? And then my iconic scene would be at the end once Kurt's going to jail. And then you get Kenan and Kel doing the Kurt's going to jail, Kurt's going to jail, Kurt's going to jail. Like that's like classic Kenan and Kel shit.
Of course.
So for me, that's my iconic scene for sure. So let's get into quick hits so we can wrap this thing up. With this has been just way too much fun, man.
Definitely good times.
So we got some good stuff here for quick hits. The theatrical trailer featured a scene that didn't make the movie. It featured a Good Burger customer saying, "Just give me a good shake," and then Ed reaching over the counter to shake him. Something like fresh from the skit. No, definitely fresh from the skit for sure.
I'm sorry, but customers can't come to the back to get a burger. Just give me a burger.
Like, just give me some good burgers. To promote the film, there was the Good Burger, Good Premiere, Good Sweepstakes. 4 grand prize winners, 1 ticket to the film's premiere, $1,000, and they got to meet Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell.
That's pretty cool.
Super dope. 100 first prize winners won a fabric hat with dreadlocks resembling those of the main character, Ed, and 500 second place winners won a copy of the film soundtrack that had a label saying it was licensed for promotional use, not for sale.
Did you sign up for that one?
I did sign up for that one.
Is that how you got the soundtrack?
No, I actually put the Sam Goody my mom bought. Let's see. Sinbad's character, Mr. Wheat, is named after writer and producer Dan Schneider's high school math teacher, Golf Wheat.
Wow.
At White Station High School in Memphis, Tennessee. Dan Schneider is the always stressed out manager.
Yeah.
Also the creator of the All That show. Mm-hmm. In 1999, Steve Holland wrote a script called Good Burger to Go, a sequel to the original film that had Ed and Dexter uncovering a scandal when a British conglomerate buys the Good Burger restaurant. Paramount had turned down the script for unknown reasons, but the script was made into a paperback novel. So I lied to you earlier in the show. I said it was about a Burgermobile getting stolen. I'm completely off. I just remember it was there, though. It was definitely there. Of the main characters, Spatch has no actual spoken lines for himself.
Right.
He either says words with the other cast members or makes some noises during the movie's process.
And that would be Billy Bob in Varsity Blues.
Billy Bob Varsity Blues, yep. There are at least 2 employees at Good Burger, an African-American man and a Caucasian woman with blonde hair, whose names we never learn, nor do we hear them speak.
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught that.
Yeah, me neither. Here's a good one. Oh, the last one, actually. Here we go. Kenan Thompson told The Morning Call that at one point there was virtually 2,000 pounds of meat on the set, some of it being old. It was so nasty, some of the burgers would stay out there for a long time. I felt sorry for the extras who had to eat them with cold, clammy fries. But on screen, the burgers look good.
I felt like that meat was later used on the set of Jackass.
I don't even want to know what they did. See, movie magic is a bitch because I remember being on set for so many different things. Like, bro, it's not going to look like this in the movie, right? All right, cool. This looks horrible.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's Good Burger. 20 years since Good Burger. A movie that, as long as I have a child, which I do, it'll never get old. I'm sure I'm going to put this on for her. She'll get a kick out of it as well. Gotta say a major thank you to my man David Neff for coming through, hanging out with me, for the show. Dave, let the people know where they can find you, man.
Drafttech.com, or you can catch me on my Instagram, David Neff Transforms.
Dave Neff, it's like a new
Yeah.
TV show coming out. I like that. I like that. So, you're not on Facebook anymore either?
No, I got rid of it. It was, you know what? It was becoming more drama than it was worth, to be honest.
Like being back in high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting tired of it.
Word. Well, you can find me on all the social medias, including Facebook, at I am Jay Alonzo. That's Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, IG. You holler at me, and here we go. You talk to me, and I'll talk back. That's my quote. Facebook.com/Back to Classics, a movie talk group. The group is up and running, so jump on in there right now. Join the party. We'd love to have you. Don't forget to go on to beatnetworkonline.com for all the podcast links, all the merchandise you can get your hands on, and of course, shout out to the entire Beat Network crew. Shout out to everybody over there at iHeartRadio. This has been Back to the Classics. Once again, shout out to my guy David Neff. See you next week. We're out of here. Peace.